So this is saying hi to you guys. I've got two cameras. I've got you guys in YouTube and I've got you guys on the Mr. Mike Garner Mr. GTV Facebook page. So if you in YouTube don't know about the Mr. GTV Facebook page, and if you on the Mr. GTV Facebook page don't know about YouTube, you can watch this on both, and there'll be different things as we go forward. We're only basically it's Friday today, we launched on Monday, it's our 5th day and we're doing extremely well. Please share this if you're enjoying it and you like the vibe, then share it with your friends, please. It's a bit chilly with you, is it, Beatrice? Okay, fair enough. I want to talk about breathing, which is something we all do. And I mean, we know, or maybe you don't, but I'm going to tell you that you can live 3 months without food. You can survive 3 months without food. And they reckon you can survive, hi Mark, they reckon you can survive 3 weeks without water. So basically without food, you would start to eat your body, eat your fats. And then you get into eating your muscle tone, your muscles. And you can go 3 weeks without water. You will get very dehydrated, but you have got enough water in you to go for 3 weeks without having any moisture. But only 3 minutes without air. 3 minutes without air. Hi Mark. Which is fascinating really, because we breathe automatically. It's something that's run through our autonomic nervous system. Our autonomic nervous system actually does a lot of things for us without us consciously thinking about it. For instance, here's a little experiment. Until I mentioned it, you weren't aware of blinking. This movement, blinking. You're just not aware of it, you just do it. It's done for you automatically. Through your autonomic nervous system, your subconscious mind controls that blink response. But now I've mentioned it, you'll become very, very aware of blinking. And it's sort of difficult because it's something you don't think about, but when you do think about it, it's sort of awkward. Awkward. And another thing that we do all the time, and it sounds quite a disgusting thing to talk about, but it's not. It's just a natural response, a reflex that's controlled by our autonomic nervous system and happens for us automatically, is swallowing. We swallow gallons of saliva, this moisture that's within us that we can't live without for more than 3 weeks. And yet, the minute I mention swallowing, swallowing now will become very, very awkward. In fact, if you think about swallowing and consciously put your mind on swallowing, it's quite a difficult thing to do, but you don't think about it, and you do it all the time without thinking about it, easily, effortlessly, smoothly. But when you put your attention on it and you do it consciously, it's sort of like really hard and quite painful and quite awkward. Swallowing. Okay, so forget about blinking and swallowing now. In a few moments' time, blinking and swallowing will become automatic, autonomic, easy and effortless. Now, breathing is the same. We don't think about breathing. It's a resource that we can access consciously and use to our advantage, because we know it actually sustains us. But far more than sustaining us and maintaining us and keeping us alive, it actually empowers us. And at the moment in the world, everything is disempowering. In fact, even before this current situation, which we won't discuss and get deplatformed, there's lots of things that happen to us in life that affect our personal power, our mood, our attitude, our well-being, our health, our energy levels. And the beauty is that your breath is connected to all of those. With every emotion expressed, and emotion is emotion, the E is energy and motion is movement. It's energy in motion. It's the flow of energy through us and from us. We absorb energy and we transmit energy. We are a transmitter and a receiver of energy. In fact, that's how you're hearing this now. My voice is transmitting energy, spoken words, and I'm breathing. With every mood, with every emotion, there is a brain wave, there is a body chemistry, there is a heart rate, there's a pulse rate, and there's a breathing pattern. I'll say that again, it's very significant. With every emotion, positive or negative, happy or sad, laughing your head off or crying your eyes out, angry or totally passive, either the duality of extremes, bipolarity, or just imbalance, or just your normal range of expressed emotions throughout the day, even when you're sleeping and dreaming, there is a pulse rate, a heartbeat, a body chemistry, a brain wave, and a breathing pattern. Your breathing alters throughout the day, in every moment, depending on your mood and your attitude and the emotion that you're experiencing, which is energy in motion. Isn't that fascinating? And yet, it adjusts itself up and down automatically without you thinking about it. So it's worth considering that when you start to think about it and put conscious intention in and become the controller of it, rather than it controlling you or it being controlled automatically, autonomically, you can get it to work for you. That's powerful. And that's called pranayama, which is an Indian word or a Sanskrit word. A lot of Thai prayers are Indian Sanskrit, the old Coptic, where occult clues were given to us. Where those came from is another story. I'll go woo-woo now, but I think they were given to us by ETs that we called angels. I'm a ancient alien believer, and there's lots of evidence, but we won't go into that. We'll talk about that again in a group. But we were given clues, we were given information, we were given knowledge that's been suppressed because society tries to suppress us. Government tries to suppress us. Government, the etymology of government, is to govern your mentality, the government. So throughout all systems of government, society, education, health systems, banking systems, financial systems, commercial systems, education systems, a lot of this knowledge, gnosis, that gives us power is suppressed. I think we should be taught meditation in school in some cultures, and particularly in Thailand where I am currently, and some other Eastern cultures, they do teach meditation, pranayama. And pranayama actually is breath power, like Reiki. Reiki, Rei and Ki. Rei is universal, Ki is energy, universal energy. And it's triggered by breath. The breath of life, which keeps us alive. What's the difference? Let me ask you guys, what's the difference? First question tonight. You guys can't answer on YouTube, you guys interactive can. What's the difference? And I'm not trying to upset anybody here, so let's just keep this positive, but what is the difference between a dead body and an alive body? If you had a dead body, let's say a dead frog, and an alive frog. Yeah, you believe in that as well, don't you, Mark? Ancient aliens. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, prefer the word ET though, more positive. Completely agree. Completely agree. I think that ancient aliens actually are future humans, and that's another subject. So what's the difference by observation of a dead frog and an alive frog? Do you guys know? I'm waiting for answers here. Come on, hazard a guess. What's the difference between a dead frog and an alive frog, guys? I'll have a drink of water while I'm waiting for your answer. This is the water that you can't live more than 3 weeks without having a drink. Any takers? Come on, there's no wrong answers. Well, I'll give you the answer. Somebody's put a shaking the head emoji, like we don't know. Okay, so the answer is this. And I never say that I'm right, but I'm offering everything that I'm saying all the time for your consideration. And what I want you to consider is the difference between a dead and alive frog, a dead and alive giraffe, a dead and alive human. And here's an answer. Live, one's got an energy being a frog in it. Absolutely right. There's a funny answer. Beatrice is saying it stinks. A dead frog stinks. That's funny. I did ask for any answers. Nice one, Beatrice. Loving it. And Jackie Helens, hiya Jackie, has said breathing. There's 2 correct answers there, and you've come up with them both. One is breathing, and one has got frog energy in it. Well, a frog. Not the giraffe or the human or the dog or the rhinoceros. But yeah. And there's an interesting subject there, because frog energy is different from human energy, is different to dog energy, giraffe energy, male energy and female energy, because they constitute, manifest within the holograph, a frog. About 2 hops. That's another good one. Hey, it's a good, tell you what, coming out with some good one-liners tonight. The difference between a live frog and a dead frog, Stephen Oliver Griffiths has said 2 hops. Quite right. I'm enjoying this before we've even got started. But the difference between anything that's alive, that's organic, and anything that's dead and that's organic is, number 1, the mammal, the insect, the reptile is breathing. If it's alive, it's breathing. Even if it's brain dead, it's breathing. And it's also got life force energy in it. So there's a relationship between breath and life force energy. In the absence of breath, there's no life force energy in the body. So we know then that if we have life force energy and breath, we can constitute life. So breath is so important. In fact, breath is the gateway to life force energy. When you're working with the body, I can make my fingers move with an intention. There's a neuro connection of synapses and electrical impulses that go from my brain to my hand. When you have a stroke, maybe that doesn't work, it breaks because of scarring on the brain or disconnection of those synaptic connections, those neurons. But there is a connection. Because I can consciously do it, but I can't consciously get to my heart. I can do something to speed my heart up and do something to speed my heart down, an action, but my mind can't control my heart, but my mind can control my breathing. And if I control my breathing, I can slow my heart down. And in Thailand, they call that Jai Yin Yin. Actually, in Thailand, when they want someone to calm down, they actually say Jai Yin Yin, which is slow your heart. In other words, when you are emotionally losing it, when you're getting aggressive, or you're speeding up, you're getting manic, excited, overexcited. In Thailand, they say Jai Yin Yin, which means slow your heart down. So they understand that heartbeat, pulse, affects breathing, brainwave. There's that association. You can't disconnect. And we have got to connect. We've got to remember that we are connected, that we're all wired up. And we can have an effect, a positive effect on our breathing. It's the gateway to our heart, to ourselves, to within ourselves. And the practice is called pranayama. There's a lot of power in your breath. I started to realise this when I did martial arts when I was 17. and I started to do jiu-jitsu in Levenshulme in Manchester. And then eventually I started to do a system called Jin Kok, which is a multidisciplinary style. It's a mixed martial art, starting in Burnage and then Warrington and then all over the place. And I wasn't tough. And I wasn't particularly fit. I was musical, I was creative. I wasn't this big guy that I am now. I was quite slim and slight and sensitive. And I was lacking in power. So I sought other masters. And I got involved with a bloke called Michael Shea at Qigong International on Portland Street in Manchester. And he taught me Qigong. And Qi is this prana. Qi is the Chinese equivalent of Ki, prana, mana, orgone energy, which flows through us all, through a frog, but not through a dead frog. And it was breath control for power, and it was called Kokyu. And I've got people in my group who were students of mine of the past, and I taught in Burnage and Manchester and Stockport and all over as an assistant instructor. And when I moved to Wales in '87, I set up my own organisation called JKMA, and eventually North Wales United Martial Arts Federation, and we had clubs all over the place. And I used all the techniques of breathing and balance and coordination and martial techniques and healing and meditation to make people super powerful, super fit, project energy, so that they never got into a fight, but if they did, they knew the techniques to defend themselves. It was never a sport, it was always a self-defense. And what I learnt in those Qigong classes has stood me the test of time. It's helped me through all sorts of ups and downs, that level of control that I needed to go into the ring to compete, to do my katas, to have endurance, to have stamina, to overcome pain in my injuries, in my life, in my emotional upsets, in my moments of mental confusion, because breath is the gateway to self-control, to heart control, emotional control, to mental control, not forgetting that every emotion has a brain wave, a pulse rate, a heartbeat, a breathing pattern and a body chemistry. So they're all linked. So if you can just break into that loop through the breath, you can actually affect your body chemistry, your pulse rate, your heart rate, your mood, your attitude, your body chemistry, everything. How powerful is that? And I realised that doing Qigong and taught that extended breath techniques and short breath techniques and kiais and shouting and projection of the breath and the voice and the association between the in-breath and the out-breath, which creates the wave in and out, and also the point between the in-breath and the out-breath, which we call the still point. And if you stay with me in the Mr. GTV group, we'll be exploring all of this, but this is basically an introduction with an offer at the end. And since then, I've been involved as a hypnotist because I had a spine injury, so that was the pain that I suffered. It finished my career as an Automobile Association patrol, a motor mechanic, doing breakdowns on the road in the UK for 32 years. And I'd already set up a company called Mind Focus Groups where I was doing mentoring. And I went into pain control, first of all, and I did a psychology degree, and I realised that the mind can control the breath, can control the body, can control the emotions, can overcome all sorts of challenges. Basically, I learnt a lot of this through doing Reiki, Qigong and martial arts. And I've been all over different health authorities teaching hypnobirthing, what's called psychoneuroimmunology, using breath and the mind to control the psyche of the mind and soma the body, for breath control, for birth control. And we know that people who are marksmen, shooting guns and weightlifters, and anybody doing anything that needs accurate breathing techniques for personal power, for racing, for jumping, for focus, for concentration, centres themselves around the breath. You'll always see a weightlifter psyching himself up before he does the jerk lift, or the bench press. And an archer or somebody shooting a gun, a marksman or a sniper, will stop the breath. Breath control. They teach breath control. If you've ever given birth to a child or been a supportive partner to somebody who's given birth to a child, they teach them breathing techniques. And somebody who has a panic attack, they'll give them a bag to blow into to equalize the exhale and the inhale. You can see it's like a third lung that you can see and control the breathing and improve the gas exchange. So powerful. This is pranayama. This is Zen breathing, and Zen means fully absorbed in your breathing, fully conscious of the breathing, not making it automatic, actually taking control and making it conscious and getting conscious control over it, focusing on it. So let me ask you, who has done any breath work? Have you done any breath work? You can put your comments in the comments box below. Have you done any breath work? You can put your comments on the screen now as you're watching. I've got members of the group, one particular lady in particular, who's done the Hoff technique. This is this guy called the Iceman. I'm going to be interviewing her next week in the group. She's going to tell us what she learnt through that. Some of the techniques, and maybe share them with us. She went on an intensive course and then went into an ice bath. If you watch this guy on YouTube, he's phenomenal. He can, he's completely breaking all medical records. He's curing all sorts of things through breath control and plunging the body into ice. Hiya Pamela, he did Tai Chi years ago and loved it, yeah. What did you find were the benefits, Pamela? A couple of times. It's very powerful. Well done, Stephen. Yeah, done some with you and Kat, yeah. Mark in the group is saying, and Stephen Oliver's saying, and Pamela Barrett is saying that these guys have done some Qigong breathing techniques with me and my daughter and independently. It's something we're going to explore. One of the things that people don't realise is that we actually exchange everything on an energetic level, energy enhancement and calmness. Thank you, Pamela. You're exchanging all the time billions of enzymes, molecules, particles of you. Yes, Beatrice. You're exchanging all the time. As you breathe out, you're breathing yourself out. As you breathe in, you're taking the world in. And because the world is encapsulated in this ozone layer, we are like a biosphere. We're an ecosystem that's sealed off from outer space. Apart from what's generated by the trees and water vapour from the seas and from gas emissions and from everything's being recycled in this ecosystem. There's nothing new since Adam and Eve, or even before Adam and Eve. I don't particularly believe that, but anything before that is called pre-Adamic man. But there's nothing new. And we go dust to dust, ashes to ashes. So we go into the earth. So as you're breathing in and out, consider this, it's powerful. You're exchanging with every breath, every particle, every molecule, everything that's in the air from all time. We're breathing in and exchanging cells, molecules from everybody's body that's living or has ever lived. Jesus. Gandhi. Also Saddam Hussein and Hitler. People from all nations, all sexes, all ages, all animals, all plants. We are exchanging with every breath in and every breath out. All the time we are blending co-creating and coexisting with our breath, and you're shedding with every breath out your lung cells, your body cells. You are exhausting. You get rid of toxins in your body through urine, feces, sweat and breath, and so does everybody else. So this idea that we're not connected is complete BS. We're all connected everywhere to everything, and we're mentally connected, which is another conversation, but physically through our breath we're connected to everybody and everything who's ever been. If you look around your house, this is fascinating. Well done, Janet. I do quantum touch and shamanic breath work. We need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. We'll get you on and talk about that if you want to. But if you look around your house, most of the dust in your house is dead skin cells. I'll say that again. Most of the dust in your house is dead skin cells. On your blankets, which is why a lot of people hoover the blankets, the sheets, duvets, whatever. But when you puff out a cushion or plump up a pillow or shake something out, okay, it might leave the cushion, the pillow, the duvet. You might suck it up with a vacuum cleaner, but when you empty it, it's all released, and most of it is skin cells with DNA. So you can't get away from anybody. Which I won't mention the V word, which I'm calling Vera, but the virus word, which we're supposed to be protecting ourselves with the Jabaruni and all that sort of stuff. There's a quantum science there that poo-poos all the science that we're led to believe about the current world situation and the validity of this thing that we're supposed to wear, because these viruses and stuff are microscopic, and trust me, they can pass through any mask, and it travels all over the world, never mind 2 meter social distancing. You can be breathing in, your next in-breath of air could be the exhalation of somebody in Zimbabwe, as somebody is dying or breathing or being born in Australia or Iceland. As you breathe in, you're getting in what they're breathing out. We're doing it all the time. All the time. There's no separation. And with this breath, trust me, there's information. You know, if you have something implanted into you, let's say you have a lung transplant or a heart transplant or a liver transplant, an eye transplant or cornea transplant, whatever you get from the donor, you get a part of them, and it's known, not often expressed, but it's known that you take on some of their personality. You get their emotions. This is why quantum touch and shamanic breath work and Reiki and some of the stuff that I do with psychokinetics, there's far more going on. And a yin hand and a yang hand, which I learnt with martial arts, is breathing through the solar plexus part of the palm. And this is the solar plexus that controls breath work, Zen breathing, but you've got it here, and you've got it in your feet as well. The whole body breathes. It's not just your mouth and your nose. We are a breathing organism, vibrating and breathing and exchanging in and out, transmitting and receiving. Transmitting as you breathe out, receiving as you breathe in, and you're exchanging molecules and particles with everybody in the planet. No separation. And when you get control of this, there's 2 techniques that I particularly teach, share and love. And one's called dragon breath, and the other one's called breathing using a violet flame, which is violet breath. But there's dragon breath, which is fire breath, which I'm prepared to share with anybody. And in fact, I'm going to run a course within my Mind Body Spirit group starting on the 25th of October a whole month's membership into that group and a month's training for 10 quid, where I'm going to be sharing this stuff, the power of breath for healing, breath for transmission, breath for radiation, in-breath for power, for healing, for control, for self-mastery, for personal power. It's phenomenal. And that's to say nothing about how you can breathe through your crown by opening your mind and breathing through this chakra 7, which connects you to heaven, and breathing in the sunlight, which is what the solar worshippers used to do, and they used to breathe in through the eyes. Because we haven't really got a body. The body is, if you like, a hologram. These molecules just, sometimes they're a wave and other times they're a particle, and while you're here on the planet they've solidified into a flow of particles, but there's a wave, and this wave is how your breath goes in and out. Your breath, your energy flows through you, through your breath. When I started this presentation 35 minutes ago, I'm a different Mike Garner now. The energy flowing through me has changed, the molecules have changed, I've transcended, I've transformed. I'm not in the same body. And over 13 months, every cell in my body changes as I breathe and I live and I grow. And your breath controls the 3 major forces in the universe, which is creation. That's why it says in Genesis, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word is a voice that comes with the breath. So there's creation, there's maintenance, and there's destruction. And it's our job in life to live as long as we can, and through breathing practice we can actually empower ourselves. It's like plugging yourself into the mains, filling your fuel tank up with a tank full of diesel or petrol or whatever, and boosting yourself up through your breath and getting your power back. And there's nothing more important. But we ignore it. We just go through the day and we just breathe automatically. And when you get it conscious, you can really empower yourself with it. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to notice the timing of your breath. And I'm going to give you a little nugget of wisdom. If you want balanced breathing, then the in-breath, the beats of the in-breath, the count of the in-breath should equal the count of the out-breath. So if you breathe in for 4, you breathe out for 4. So you breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Now, if your lung capacity or your rhythm in the moment is 6, then it's 6 in, 6 out. If it's 8, it's 8 in, 8 out. If it's 2, it's 2 in, 2 out. And that creates balance. So if you want to create balance, just stop what you're doing, create a still point, just check out of the situation in the external world and go inside yourself to your inner world and breathe in through the nose to an equal count that you're going to breathe out, and maybe do 8 breaths. And if you've done 8 breaths, 4 in, 4 out, 6 in, 6 out, 8 in, 8 out, whatever you do, 8 breaths like that, and you should get balance. And I would recommend that you practice balance, because balance is healing. All healing is balance. All self-control is balance. All you perform at your best when you're balanced. So checking into your breathing and making your in-breath an equal beat to your out-breath, that's the nugget of wisdom, which is life-changing in itself. And if I've got anybody in panic attack, and as I said, they would blow into a bag so they could see the breath in and breath out, if I just get them on the phone or if I'm in front of them to breathe in an equal amount of beats to the exhale, they get balanced within 8-10 breaths, sometimes 6. Practice that. Trust me, that works. And yet a lot of people overlook that simple technique and they don't master that skill. And it's my go-to technique. I go inside and get control of my breathing, and I get control of myself, because be under no illusion I can lose the plot. The same shit happens to me as happens to you. But trust me also that I don't react like I used to. I'm not as fired up, I'm not as heated. I don't let people get to me. I don't get to myself. I don't self-sabotage. And if I catch myself losing it, I go straight into my breathing and I nip it in the bud, and it doesn't last long and it's got no power. Now, if you want to build energy, if you're lacking in energy, feeling low and slow and lethargic, procrastinating, couch potato, can't get off your bum, and you want to get moving, you make the in-breath longer than the out-breath. When you want to empower yourself, you breathe in more than you breathe out. So you breathe in possibly for 2, breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. So you breathe in, breathe out. I will tell you actually that I've just done that and I've realised that I've told you that the wrong way around, and that's the beauty of a live presentation. It's when you want to calm down actually that you do that. When you want to calm down, you breathe out longer than you breathe in. You breathe in for 2, breathe out for 4. You breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. You breathe in for 8, breathe out for 16. That's when you want to calm down, cool down, come down, ground yourself. That's what I should have said. Live TV is wonderful. So to calm down, ground down, settle down, breathe in for 2, breathe out for 4. Or breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. Now I'm actually making sucking and blowing noises here. You wouldn't do that. Again, that's for the benefit of the demonstration and for TV. Do it gently. And when you're doing this breathing, you don't put tension in your chest. You always breathe down into your belly. Now, when we do the training, we'll be covering all these aspects, and you'll really enjoy it because we'll do it to music and all sorts of things and put a lot more into it. So for balanced breathing, same amount in, same amount out, calm down, half in, twice out. And this is what I meant to say, when you want to empower yourself, you breathe in twice as much as you breathe out. So it's the opposite. You would breathe in for 8 and out for 4. Breathe in for 16 and out for 8. Breathe in for 4 and out for 2. So let's do that to empower yourself. Do it with me if you want. Breathe in. Out for 2. In. Out for 2. Or in for 4. In for 8 and out for 4. And out for 4. When you breathe in for 8 and out for 4, when you double the in-breath and halve the out-breath, you inflate yourself. You feel inflated, elated, light and bright. When you're enlightened and empowered, you should feel light and bright and buoyant. So you're blowing yourself up, you're breathing in for twice as much as you breathe out. When you want to calm down, come down, you let your breath out. You deflate yourself. Let the breath out. So you breathe in half as much as you breathe out. You breathe in for 4 and out for 8. Are you getting that? This is so simple, yet it's so fundamental. And I teach this to people who are pre-op, when they're stressed, when they're frightened, for pain control, for birth control, hypnobirthing, when people can't have epidurals because it would put their heart at risk, or because they've just started to deliver, the waters are broke, and there's not enough time to put them on a spinal tap, we use psychoneuroimmunology, self-hypnosis, trance states, breathing states, alter states through breathing. It's extremely powerful. Don't watch this and ignore this. This is life-changing. Just that simple 4 in and 4 out for balance is life-changing, or 8 in and 8 out. To empower yourself, 8 in and 4 out. To calm yourself down, 4 in and 8 out. Take notes, practice. But from the 25th of October, which is Monday, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be running a week's training on this within the Mike Body Spirit group. It's 10 quid. That money goes to charity. If you're in that group, you're going to get it anyway. If you're not in that group, I'm going to put you in that group, and there's so much more in that group. There's 4 years of development, empowerment, psychic stuff, spiritual stuff, life coaching stuff, woo-woo stuff. You'll love it. For a tenner. So that's really exciting if you really want to empower yourself through your breathing. And if you want to understand yourself and your relationship with everybody else, because when you breathe, you blend with everybody else and life force energy. Has anybody got any questions? Because I think I've said as much as I want to say, and this was an introduction into that course, and I just wanted to make you aware of the power of breathing, which is something that's automatic and quite often you're not aware of. And the whole idea about Mr. GTV is that you start to get awareness of how powerful you are and how more powerful you can be when you start to control yourself. And when you control your breathing, you control your energy, your body chemistry, your heart rate, your pulse rate, all those things we've discussed, and it changes you. It means that you're not reactive. You can act. You've got an intervention. You've got more than a coping strategy. You've got an empowerment technique. Because people say to me, I just want to cope, Mike. No, you don't. You don't just want to cope. You want to be amazing. Coping's boring. Coping is just existing. It's a low level of survival. Okay, it's good if you survive something, but isn't it better if you can rise to a challenge and be a warrior, a fighter, a powerful force to be reckoned with, a loving, giving, confident person? And through your breathing and controlling your energy and understanding your true potential, your full potential, and the nature of reality, which isn't the stuff you've been taught at school, because that's all controlled by the government, and the government are there to govern your mentality. You're the director of your own life. You're the boss of yourself, and in every moment, there's flies around here, in every moment you should be writing, script writing your life, producing it in the moment, directing it from your higher self, and becoming a superstar in your own life. And breath control is the gateway to it. That's really kind, Stephen. We'll talk about that's really kind, Stephen. Just so that you guys on YouTube know, I've got a guy here called Steve Oliver Griffiths, and he's just said he'll donate £100 to the charity. It's for homeless children. I work at a school in Nongsall, which is in the village, and it's a charity school and government school, but charity funded, and they've got a creche and they've got homeless kids, and I'll put some photographs on the group. God bless you, Stephen. God bless you. So it's all there for you, and all you have to do is do it. If you do it, it works. If you don't, it won't. And the difference between being the person that you want to be and the person that you're capable of being is the decision to do it and to learn it. And I got to this through martial arts. But all the tricks of my trade, I'm sharing in the Mike Body Spirit group, the learning, and I'm soundbiting it and demonstrating it and getting people interested in it on Mr. GTV. And we're getting a community, which is a unity, which is this blending with everybody through breath, through love, heart vibration, breath work, spiritual work. And I'm not religious. In fact, I think that religion has caused a lot of problem in the world. But behind the scriptures in most religions is truth, and it's been manipulated by men and governments for selfish reasons. And there's no power in that, and I'm all into power. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Keep checking back, and have a wonderful Friday evening. And there's more to see this weekend on Mr. GTV, so more power to you. And practice your breathing and be powerful. Enjoy your mind. God bless, guys. God bless. Comments in the comments box below. Share this with everybody, and let's be powerful. It's challenging at the moment. It's very, very challenging. When you do the course, I just want to say this, I'll be teaching you how to empower other people through your breath. You can literally breathe into the breath of life that you've got. You can put life into other people, and that's just giving you a clue about some of the miracles and some of the magic I'll be sharing. Flies around here. No flies on me, but there is. Good night. Good night.